All right, what is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for watching. Today, I wanted to share this, and I was like, man, I should just go ahead and do this live because um, this is something I wanted to be able to share. So, how do you get your business to take off, right? Like, what do you need to do? What are the things that you need to make sure that you get done so that your business will actually take off and grow the way you want it to grow? I don't think there's a person right now that's watching this video who is either working a full-time entrepreneurship or building a side business who's not thinking about what is it that I have to do in order for my business to take off. One of the things that I have done, especially when it comes to the podcast, when it comes to coaching, when it comes to the work that I'm doing is I'm always thinking about what is it going to take for that business to grow. But here's something that I realized. There was a principle that I just kind of been paying attention to over the last week that I was like, wow, it's something I didn't realize that was actually right in front of my face that would help me start to really think about how I'm growing and what I'm actually doing. And so I wanted to share that information with you. I wanted you to be able to see it. And then, man, we'll be able to have a great conversation. Feel free down in the comments. You can chat with me. You can have a live conversation with me. And we'll try to answer any questions that might come up. But this is all about like, how do you get your business to lift off? So first and foremost, there's a couple of things that we've gotta think about, right? Like some things that we've gotta understand. First and foremost, the one thing that I want us to all understand is that in life there are but so many there are so many principles, honestly, that I think a lot of times what we do is we don't pay attention to the principles that will actually help us through life. Like we don't think about the principles and the things that are like right in front of us that are every single day that we don't leverage. So I want to start with one particular principle, and I'm going to show you guys this. And I want us to kind of just have a quick conversation about like a few different things. Okay. So first and foremost, here's the question. Some of us don't know this, and I'm just going to share this like here with this principle. Okay. So first things first. I want you to think about your business like when you and I go to the airport, right? And there's two major components to the airport. There's the runway and there's the plane, right? Without those two, we're going nowhere. So I just want us to think about that. There's the runway and there's the plane. And here's what I want us to think about. And I've been going through this in my mind over and over and over again because I find certain stuff like this fascinating. But what I was thinking about was, okay, when it comes to like flight, like how is it that a plane takes off, right? Like I was just thinking about that. I really was like, why is it that planes take off? What is causing it to actually fly, right? And so I got to looking it up, and of course you can Google anything and you can learn a lot of stuff. Well, I saw some principles that really applied to how we're building our businesses. So let's first look at it this way. If you think about the runway, some of us don't know this. So depending on the size of the plane determines which size of the runway they take. So most runways are anywhere between like 8,000 feet in length to anywhere to like 16,000 feet, right? Which means that if it's a shorter runway, probably a smaller plane, right? If it's a 747, right, it's a longer runway. But then that got me to asking another question. And I was like, I wonder how fast does a 747 have to be going before it actually starts to lift? And that took me down this path, and that's why I want to share with you. So I want you to think about this for a second. So I want you to think about the speed of a 747, right? Like a 747 is a huge plane, right? And my thought was like, man, well, how fast does that have to be going? Because that's a huge plane. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of metal. That's a lot of humans. That's a lot of bags, right? Like, what in the world does it take in order for it to do that? Well, all planes are working off the same principles in nature, right? And so for a 747 to take off properly, it has to get to a speed And I'll just, hold on, let me just back up a second. It has to get to a speed, great. It has to get to a speed of 184 miles an hour. 184. Now, when I started thinking about that, I'm going, why 184 miles an hour? Right? Like, what is it about 180? Why wasn't it 180? Right? Why wasn't it, 225? Right? Like 184 miles an hour at that particular speed, not 183, not 185, right? Not 180. At 184 miles an hour, the plane, the 747, will then start to take flight. Now, when you think about your business, when you think and you understand the principles of flight, I realized the same thing that goes into flying a plane, as far as the principles of what makes a plane fly, are the same things that we got to start leveraging in our business, and the stuff that I'm thinking about for my business. So I wanted to kind of share this with you because I think this will probably help you. I know it's definitely helping me. So when you think about that, that means that this 747 needs a runway long enough in order for the flight to take off. Now, before we get into any of the other principles about flight, here's the thing I want you to know. Some of us are trying to have a short runway for this goal that is like humongous. And we're getting frustrated because here's what's happening. This runway, as you're trying to go down the runway, you think, oh, well, I know it's a longer runway and I know I got a big vision and a big dream, but it shouldn't take me that long. So it shouldn't take me, too much far down the runway. And then when you've tried something and it failed, and you tried something and it failed, or you didn't learn from the failures, you didn't think it didn't work. Well, here's the thing that you got to know. This is the way I like to look at a runway. I look at my runway as a few things, as life, right? Meaning I only have but so much time on this planet to really get something to take off, right? It can be life. It can be the amount of energy, right? I've got, to do something. Because you know what's interesting? I'm sorry, but I don't want to be, 80, 90 years old having to run as hard as I am approaching 40 because I didn't do the things I was supposed to do when I was further back on my runway of life, right? So I know I've only got but so much life, but so much energy that I've got time to place things in. And the way I look at it is, out here is basically where it's over, right? Like, it's over. And so the one thing I don't think that we think about enough when it comes to our life, when it comes to our business, is like, for example, you don't have, if you're not thinking clearly, you've only got but so much runway when it comes to your money. So if you're not using it properly, you will crash and burn. Even though you have the prettiest plane, you have the greatest idea, you have the greatest thought idea, you're thinking about things in a certain way, it won't matter if you don't understand you only have but so much time on this planet. You only have but so much energy, right? Some of us aren't willing to fail enough to get to the win. And that might happen along your runway, right? So that's just the first thing. I just want us to understand that like all of us are on the runway of life. And guess what? It will expire. Like, so whether or not you accept that or we think we're Peter Pan and we think we're just going to live forever, that's not true. But you got to understand, life will end. And if you don't do the things now in order to get your dreams, your ideas to really take off, it's really going to be hard for you to enjoy life. Or you know what'll happen? You will literally spend all of your time on the runway and you'll never take off. Hey, I know you're enjoying this video, but I do have a quick question. If there was a way you and I could work together for 5 days, for 1 hour every single day of those 5 days, and I actually helped you learn what it would take to actually grow your side business, would you be interested? Well, I got something for you. It's called the Grow Your Side Business Challenge. That's right. So right now, I want you to go to the website, growyoursidebusiness.com, and I want you to go ahead and register for the next challenge. Now, we do these monthly, and I don't know how long I'm going to be doing them because I'm giving away a lot of great game and a lot of information, but I just love being able to see you enjoy and build the type of business that you want. And so I've done this a few times now, and I want to continue to do this. Go ahead and jump in now. Go ahead and register at growyoursidebusiness.com. It's 5 days, 1 hour a day, and we're going to get together, and I'm going to show you some things about maximizing your day job and that side business and really making it really work together for you and the life that you always dreamed of. Go to growyoursidebusiness.com right now and register today. And that's not what we want, right? So I want to show you why and how to leverage thinking about the next time you go to an airport. Like, I want you to think about this differently. Okay, all right. So a 747 takes 184 miles an hour before it takes off. I want you to think of this runway as life. I want you to think about this runway as your business, right? Like, you've only got about so much time and energy and money to make something happen, right? Well, here's something I want us to think about, okay? So for a plane, there are 4 things that you need in order for that actually work when it comes to flight. Okay, basically 4 things, and all 4 of these things are 4 principles that we can use that show up in this principles of getting a plane to fly that also go into helping your business take off as well. All right. So the first one is let me use this one. The first one is we're going to talk about lift. The second one we'll talk about is drag. All of these are just principles of getting a plane in the air, right? This third one we'll talk about is weight. And this fourth one we're going to talk about is thrust. All right. All of these, if they are not working the way we need them to, when we're on the runway, we will not take off. Period. And remember, a 747 has to get up to 184 miles an hour on a runway that, by the way, is facing the trees most of the time, or facing the ocean, right? Or facing a cliff, right? Like, I just want you to think about this for a second, right? So lift, drag, weight, and thrust. But there's one thing we gotta deal with, because this is something that made me start thinking about like my business, and like I was like, okay, Chris, you've got to do some things differently, because clearly what you're doing is not working to its ultimate end. All right, so let me draw the wing of a plane. All right, so if you think about the wing of a plane, okay, this is the wing of a plane. The purpose of this wing is built this way so that air will flow over the top of the wing faster than what's happening underneath it. And what this does is, if done right, like the pressure of the air up here is very low, this pressure is high, and as a result, based on the speed and everything else, if everything else is working right, this plane will then begin to fly. Why? Because the air is moving faster than on top than underneath. What in the world would that mean for me and my side business? What would that mean for me in my job? What would that mean for me in my money? What would that mean for me in my relationships? Well, here's something that I want you to consider. I want you to think of, let me go back. I want you to think of your plane as your vehicle, right? So I want you to think of your plane. This plane, right, is your job, right? Your side business. I want you to think of this as, think of your job, your side business. I want you to think of anything else that you're doing to earn income, right? And it doesn't matter what your side business is. It could be real estate. It could be anything. It doesn't matter what it is, but I just want you to think about your job, your side business, anything. I want you to think of this as the vehicle that you're leveraging. And what you're trying to do is get your job to create some lift, right? What you're trying to do is get your side business to create some lift. Well, here's something I want us to think about. In order for that wing of your job or your side business to actually take off, you need something to be moving at a faster pace so that things will start to lift. You know what I like to call this? And this is the reason why it's green. What you need is cash. You need cash flow. You need cash flowing in a direction at a higher speed than the things that it takes to run your life. Because, okay, let's just be honest about like something real quick. Whether we like to admit it or not, even though people love to talk about how, for them, it might not be about the money, or they like to say money isn't everything, or they like to deflect the need for money. Whether you like it or not, without the money, you can't have any of what you really want. Right? So you want better health care. That costs. You want better living conditions. That costs. You want a better car. That costs. You want to eat better. That costs. Right? Like there's a cost to everything. And there's a lot of things that it's going to take you some additional income that is greater, that's coming in greater than these things. Let me write them out. Then your household monthly bills. Then the quick life interruptions, I like to call them. Right? What are life interruptions? Some of them are good and some of them are bad. I got a son going off to college. It's a life interruption. Right? That's going to cost money. I got another one coming right behind him. That's going to cost money. Right? If you're moving, that's going to cost money. If you're going to do real estate as your side business, that's capital intensive. That's definitely going to cost money. My point is, you're going to need a lot of money flowing. That's going to be greater than this stuff in order to be able to create real lift in your financial situation. And here's the other part. Can we just be honest about it? A lot of us are under financial stress, but we're tolerating that stress because we sometimes feel like, well, I can't do anything about it. And you actually can. But what you've got to learn to do is you got to understand why these 4 principles actually work. So let's get into this, okay? So hopefully this makes sense, right? Like you need more cash flowing in that is greater than what it takes you to run your life or to improve your lifestyle. You might like where your life is right now. That's cool. But having more than just enough, I think, is actually a good thing, right? So there's that. So let's talk about what these 4 are, all right? Let's start with lift. So lift, I want you to think of lift in your business as it's going to make it so that your life, your business, your side business, your full-time business, your career, your relationships, whatever the case may be, that it's going to start making it easier, not because it's just easy, but because you're putting a few things in place. Here's what lift is in my eyes. Lift is systems, operations, right? Like things in your life that you start putting in place in order to run your world, right? Like if you don't have systems in your side business and you're trying to still work your full-time job, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to say, yes, I am moving my business forward. You know why? Because you're going to get tired. And there are going to be some days that you don't want to do stuff. And your systems can include people and technology, right? So this is what creates lift, though, because this is the most interesting part that I'm understanding. I would say more and more as I continue to build the podcast, as I continue to work on my coaching program, as I continue to just build my life. Period. Doesn't matter, business, life, whatever. What I'm realizing is, if I just put in a better system, if I just put in a system and work my energy to improving that system, it gives lift to my life. See, everybody's looking for the perfect system. And I'm telling you, the only perfect system is the one that you actually implement and then start to perfect it. Right? So what does that mean? So that could be, like I said, the people that you put in your life, right? You're a single mother. My wife was a single mother for 10 years. If you're a single mama and you're in the same town with your mama or an aunt, a cousin, an uncle, and you got to raise these babies, I think it might be a good thing to make sure that hey, they're around, they're together, they're able to be there. And you're able to say, hey, I've got to go do X for my business or for my job. Can you watch them for the weekend? Hey, on Wednesday nights, can we work out an agreement? Right? Some of you don't have that problem, right? You've got an additional person at home. You got a spouse. Great. Well, guess what? Honey, on Wednesday nights is when I'm going to be working on my business. And on Sunday evening, I'm going to be getting ready so that I can work out my week. I'm going to need your help taking care of the kids. So what if you could find a community of corporate professionals who also have side businesses, and we're all just trying to learn from each other and learn how to grow? Well, that's why I'm here. You should join the Grow Your Side Business Challenge. That's right. I want you right now. Go to it right now. GrowYourSideBusiness.com. And guess what? You can opt into a 5-day challenge. 1 hour per day, you and I are going to get together with a ton of other community people who, guess what? We're all trying to grow our side businesses, and we want to know how to do it the right way the first time. Well, guess what? I'm going to teach you some things that you didn't even know that you should be doing to leverage your corporate day job while also at the same time learning how to build that side business. And you're going to find out that actually, if you do your side business the right way, it will impact the way you show up at work. And I'm going to show you some things that you didn't even know was possible. So for 5 days, for 1 hour a day, you and I get together. Now, I got 2 ways you can experience that. You could jump in to the general admission. Well, guess what? You just get access to the live training right then and there each and every day for 1 hour a day. Or you could jump into the VIP experience. VIP people get a chance to actually talk with me, actually ask questions every single day if you would like to before the actual training. So guess what? You want to jump into the VIP experience because that is where you'll be able to get your questions answered and including the actual training live. So go to growyoursidebusiness.com, jump into the challenge, and I look forward to seeing you there. The whole point is you need to start employing systems into whether it is your side business, whether it is your full-time business, right? You've got to employ systems. You got to let systems start to work for you, and you got to start improving on those systems. There is no perfect system. The only perfect system is the one that you actually put in place, and then, and only then, will you be able to actually improve it, right? Because sometimes we'll say something to somebody or we'll ask somebody to do something, and what we forget that what you may have said may not communicate it well. And then we forget, oh, I got to work on my communication, right? And so some of us, the reason why we're struggling is because we don't want to have to do the hard work of getting better as a leader, getting better with our communication, getting better at systems, getting better at leading people, right? Getting better at communication, right? So this is one thing that's going to create lift. The other one is, your operations, right? What operations are you putting in place at home, right? How often do you have a business meeting at home, right? Who's responsible for trash? Who's responsible for the dishes, right? Who takes care of making sure the grass and everything, who's just making sure that things are operating, right? How are the bills getting paid, right? Just think of the regular everyday operations, right? Of just things that's got to get done, right? You got to start thinking about those things because they're important. The process is in place. Does something need, and this is one I'm definitely working on right now. Does something need to be written down and literally put in a document that says start here, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 30, right? What is it? That's really important. Okay? That's really, really important. What processes are actually there to guide somebody so that why? You can bring somebody new in, and then all of a sudden, while they're brand new, you can say, okay, I got it. Here's what you're going to do. This is the sheet that you can follow, right? And then again, if I put that in place and I give it to somebody and they mess up a step, I don't have to be upset with them. All I got to do is improve the process. See what I'm saying? All of this is about improvement in your life, right? But that's just lift. That's just lift. Now, let's talk about this other one over here. Let's talk about drag. What is drag? What is drag in your life? I look at drag as all things you don't let go of or learn. That makes sense? Drag to me is anything that you don't let go of or the things that you're not willing to learn. So what do I mean by that? And let me just put this up here. So, won't let go of or learn. I'm telling you right now, the one thing that I am figuring out real quick in life is that my ability to let go of what I thought was the truth, my ability to accept I don't know everything, literally the moment I wake up and put my feet on the floor in the morning, my ability to accept new information from other people who actually are doing the thing that I want to do. See, here's the problem. Our ego and our brain that doesn't like unknown will hear and see someone else who has, if you got coaching, I have a coach. We've got 2 coaches now. I'm about to be 3, right? But if you have a coach in your life, they're going to tell you things that are literally going to feel opposite to what you're doing right now. But then somewhere in our brain, we're like, no, that can't be right. There's got to be another way. Really? Because if there was, you would be doing it by now. Right? So the point is that creates drag. Why? Because of our inability to listen and do what feels different and unknown, thus we stay where we are. And it makes it harder in life for us to lift off. Right? It just makes it harder. So all, and when I say all, I mean all. I mean the things that are creating drag in your life, that are not allowing you to be able to really get to a speed in life so that your plane, your vehicle can get off the ground, off that runway of life. It's all things that you won't let go of or that you're not willing to learn. And I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the time, the things that we won't let go of are probably greater than the things that we're not willing to learn. Some of us won't let go of what we learned about money and won't let go of our degrees and won't let go of what we just think we know, right? And by the way, what we think we know was probably based on 1993 somewhere when the world has completely changed since then. But because we're not willing to unlearn anything, it's hard for you to accept new information. Thus, you won't take off. And that's something that is a struggle you and I will always have. The question is, how much longer are you going to let that drag you? All right? That's number 2. Number 3 is an interesting one. Because you might say, well, Chris, isn't this the same thing as drag? And it's not. So we got lift, we got drag, we have weight. What is weight? Weight is the pressure or movement into an unknown with or without help. So in plain terms, when we're talking about a plane, weight is literally all of the stuff that is the weight of the plane, right? It's, it's the bags, right? It's the people, right? It's the size of the plane, right? It's all of those things, right? Like all of that is weight, right? But in the case of our business, in the case of our life, weight, right, is the pressure or the movement into an unknown with or without help. That's the real weight of what we're going through right now. Think of it this way. When you think about weight, I'll just write it here. Pressure movement into unknown. I want you to think of this. Most people, when we think about doing something new, we make a ton of assumptions that tend to lean negative. What do I mean? What if it doesn't work out? What are people going to think of me? What if I fail? I don't want to lose money. I'm trying to save what I got. I don't know enough. All of those things are just more weight. It's just more weight that is holding us down. Well, it didn't work out before. The people that we talk about will create more pressure on us. You shouldn't do that. I've never seen that work before. Why would you go and do that? It's all of this stuff, right? That's what creates pressure. And then internally it's enough, right? Like we're all bad to ourselves, right? We say crazy things to ourselves that we know that if out loud you heard another person say, you'd be like, why are you talking to yourself like that? But when it comes to ourselves, we're our own worst critics, right? You can't do that. You're not him. You're not her. You don't have what they have, right? We start talking to ourselves in this lack and scarcity mentality. That's all creating weight. And unfortunately, let's go back. Unfortunately, when you think about this runway, unfortunately, that's what's holding us down. Right? That's what's holding us down every single day. Now, let's talk about the fourth one. The fourth one is really, really, really important because you know what lift is in your life and you know what you need to use, right? I think we all know sometimes, like the reason why our life feels chaotic is because we haven't put anything in order. That's what lift would give you, right? That's the systems, the operations, the processes. Chaos brought into order tends to create a better synergy, right? In a plane, the systems are the engines, the cockpit, all the stuff that they put together that are all working in sync to get that plane 184 miles an hour, right? That's what we got to do in our life. Drag, right? So drag. What we won't let go of or learn, right? You got to let go of the past. You got to let go of failures. Or with failures, what I would suggest, learn from them, but then go right back and do it again with the understanding. Right? And then you got this weight. Again, all this pressure. And when you talk about movement into the unknown, you know why that's even added pressure? Because can we be honest, y'all? Truth is, deep down, we want to move forward. Truth is, deep down, we don't like sitting and staying where we are. Truth is, you already got what you got. And you know that ain't enough. For you, I'm saying. Not enough in terms of status. No. You just know when you lay your head down at night, you don't feel like you are or achieving at the level you know you're supposed to. You know you're bigger than that. So unfortunately, that's a part of pressure. Because you know you're supposed to be in a space that you've not gotten to yet. And that is pressure. Right? So here's this last one. This last one is important. It'd be nice if I spell it right. Thrust. So what is thrust? Thrust is the accountability, the coaching, the ability to burn the bridge, and that thing inside of you that says, how bad do you want it? That's what thrust is. That's exactly what thrust is. Thrust is the push outside of yourself. To me, thrust is when you get coaching, some level of accountability, right? Coaching, accountability, and you start putting demands on your life. To me, that's thrust. The late Kobe Bryant once said, I make a contract with myself over the summer and I don't negotiate. Sounds like accountability and creating a demand on his life to me. Right? Like, that's what thrust is. Thrust is the push outside of yourself. Because without that, you know you're not going to push you as hard as somebody outside of you will. Because the truth of the matter is, you know that it's going to take work to get you where you want to go. Like, if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, that's going to take a lot of work. And in order to lose 20 pounds, what's going to happen? You're going to have some lift, some systems in place on how you eat, your workouts, right? Your routine, how you operate in your house with your food and everything else, the processes of what you do. You got some drag. You won't let go of some stuff. Like me, I swear, y'all, I'm trying. Like, I work out every single day to reach my goal. But man, I don't care who you are. If you throw some Twizzlers in my face, if you put some Cold Stone Creamery, cake batter for Oreos, yeah, that's me. If you put some sweet tarts in my face, man, I'm done. I'm sorry. And my mother-in-law's pound cake. Jesus Christ, it's so good. Anyway, the point is, yo, like, that's my drag, right? Like, that's my drag, right? And weight, right? So what is the weight of trying to lose this 20 pounds? Well, it's the pressure, right? Of, you know, you got to do the work, but man, internally you got bad self-talk, right? So you got to read other books, right? Because the pressure is, I want to get this weight off because I probably know I need to, just even for health reasons. But and some of us work towards a date, right? Which is cool, right? Like, ladies, sometimes your friend is getting ready to get married. So what do? You get in the gym because you're like, yo, I want to be able to fit in that dress, right? That's something ladies say, right? Cool. But that's pressure, right? That creates weight, right? And the movement into the unknown, because you know between her wedding date and the date that you decided to go ahead and that you wanted to be in this size dress, it's going to take some work. Right? And so thrust is saying, who do I have? Who am I going to allow in my life to push me to do the things that I already know inherently I just don't want to do? Like, can you be honest? Like, and I think that's one thing too. Let me put this up here. If you're going to have real thrust to get things off in your life, it's going to take some real self-awareness. And you got to be honest, man. You got to be honest. Like, you got to be really honest with the fact that, like, listen, okay, I don't do well when it comes to, coming home from work and spending 2 hours doing what I need to do to build my side business. I am not good at that. I will grab my phone, sit on the couch, and enjoy thumb flicking for the next 30 minutes, TV shows for the next hour, and then complain that my life ain't moving forward. It takes self-awareness to say, I need some thrust in my life. I'm going to have to get some coaching. I'm going to have to allow some accountability in my life. Right? So that's what it takes. But here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. And I'm not telling you in what order or where your situation lives. I will tell you this. If you are not focused on these 4 principles that work in order to literally make a 747 leave from the ground into the air and get it to 184 miles an hour, do you realize how great of a feat that is? Every time it happens, it's happening right now as you watch this video. There's an airport with a 747 and a 777 that is actually working this entire thing. You know what's interesting though? None of us are thinking about that when we get on the plane. We just think, oh, it's all supposed to work. But then you realize and you start to respect the process that plane goes through when you start to apply this to your life. And you see how it really works. And then you go, whoa, okay, I get it. This is a miracle. So I just want us to understand, and hopefully this was helpful, because I want you to understand that your side business, the only way to get your business off the ground is you're going to have to leverage these 4 principles. And you have to accept that this is the way. That's a line, by the way. But anyway, the whole point is it's true. Like, this is the way. That's it. This is the way. And we could try to fight it. We could try to find some other way. We could try to rearrange this and all that energy. Let me go back. All that energy that you're wasting on the ground when you should be putting it into the principles, just remember, there's an expiration date out here. Just remember that it will be over. Just remember that there are people around you who are winning, but they are getting those principles. And they're not wasting time hoping for something else to be different. Like, you can be mad all you want at gravity. You and I are subject to gravity. Sorry. Gravity is just a thing. So either get used to it, deal with it, or find a way to make life better with it. But you're not getting around gravity. You can improve gravity not impacting you like planes do. But what are they leveraging? They're leveraging the natures of law. And so I want to go back to this real quick. So that's why when you think about these 4 and you think about your cash flow, when you start thinking about your cash flow, what happens is you lower the financial stress of your everyday life and you improve the ability to be able to continue to leverage your creativity and hone in on your skills to get even better. But when you're not improving anywhere, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very, very difficult for that thing to really take off. So I hope this was helpful. Again, these 4 things are something that I'm definitely looking at on a consistent basis. I hope they helped you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, here's what I like for you to do. Put the information and your thoughts down in the comment section. Leave a like, share this video. You can leave a thumbs down. That's cool with me too. Or you can share it with me what you may disagree with. That's completely fine by me. But at least you shared some version of reaction to this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great, incredible day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hey, I know you're enjoying this video, but I do have a quick question. If there was a way you and I could work together for 5 days, for 1 hour every single day of those 5 days, and I actually helped you learn what it would take to actually grow your side business, would you be interested? Well, I got something for you. It's called the Grow Your Side Business Challenge. That's right. So right now, I want you to go to the website, growyoursidebusiness.com, and I want you to go ahead and register for the next challenge. Now, we do these monthly, and I don't know how long I'm going to be doing them because I'm giving away a lot of great game and a lot of information, but I just love being able to see you enjoy and build the type of business that you want. And so I've done this a few times now, and I want to continue to do this. Go ahead and jump in now. Go ahead and register at growyoursidebusiness.com. It's 5 days, 1 hour a day, and we're going to get together, and I'm going to show you some things about maximizing your day job and that side business and really making it really work together for you and the life that you always dreamed of. Go to growyoursidebusiness.com right now and register today.